The shooter, chaos, people drinking bottles. What's everybody? Welcome back. How you doing? Welcome. So I wanted to update some of the stuff with the shooter and the incident that happened that we covered live last night. Probably one of the first people on it. Crazy live, had a lot of people, 20,000, I think, people. And I figured we need to update this, man. The clips that I'm seeing is just crazy. And I'm going to get into the details, timeline, manifesto. By the way, the video I'm showing now is from earlier because it went offline. But don't worry about that because I'm going to show you a bunch of other stuff. So Mario posted this, and I just thought this was kind of like someone tried to kill Trump, flooded the place, Secret Service, the whole venue evacuated, and this legend, unbothered, not disturbed, made sure to continue his dinner. What the? Ireland, this should go to waste. Oh, over here just chilling. Caviar. Whatever that is, oatmeal. Gerbert. I don't know. Just chilling. So let me get into some of the timeline, some of the details, new information, the conspiracy, all the crap, all the mumbo jumbo. Notifications went out. Good. So some of the timeline. So apparently this guy, the guy's name is Cole Allen from Torrance, California. And he was a high school tutor and a Caltech mechanical engineer grad, master's in computer science. He's even been in the news before. There was like a California news clip of him designing something for a wheelchair. I think I have it for later. We'll take a look at that. It's always interesting with some of these incidents. It's like, okay, they were in the news at some point in time or whatever, you know? So yeah, mechanical engineer grad, master's in computer science, independent video game developer. Okay. So he had booked this hotel incident, like the place, the Washington Hilton, I guess. He booked the room early in April. April 24th, the day before the shooting, he checks into this hotel. He's registered as a guest. And so they said supposedly after traveling by train from Los Angeles, Chicago, Washington, DC, I don't know why this guy didn't just fly, but took the train. This allowed him legitimate access past the hotel's outer security. So, because a lot of people are like, well, how did he get past? And how did this like happen? It doesn't make sense. Inside job, conspiracy, everything above the sun, under and above, I don't know. And so he had access to this hotel already. He was checked in already. So that allowed him to get past, I guess, certain security. But I feel like the hotel should do better, though. Like, I mean, it's because it's like you have this massive event. You're going to let whoever check in, even though I guess he doesn't have like any kind of, I don't know, criminal history that we know of. But you're not going to check these people for weapons and guns like the day before you have this massive event. You know, so he had checked and was there the day before. Now, on the day of the attack last night, okay, there was a lot of people there. Between 2,000 and 3,000 people. Melania, Trump, Vance, cabinet members, Kash Patel. We're going to take a look at Kash Patel. We're going to take a look at RFK Jr. And before the attack, he had sent this manifesto. At 8:30, they say, he sent a 1,052-word manifesto to family members, anti-Trump, anti-Christian, and I guess named, or he said he's targeting administration officials. 8:36, he goes in there armed with a shotgun, handgun, and knives. Charges the main magnetometer, the metal detectors, the screening area, which is just outside of the ballroom, kind of, because I don't know what this place looks like. I haven't seen it, but it's like a transitional area. I'm gonna talk more about that in a minute, like the levels that it's on. He would have had to pass this. It's not that far, but there's like a transit. I guess there's like some stairs that go further down. There's the lobby. Then there under the lobby, there's something called. Let me see. I was looking it up just before the stream. The What's it called? Okay, the Terrence level, which is where the magnetometer is, and then under that, there's like a staircase. It's not that far though, but there's a staircase that leads to the concourse level. So the lobby, the under the lobby was where this guy was at, and then under that was this main event. That's how I understand it. So, okay, so homeboy charges. We're gonna look at the video again. Somebody made it an enhanced video. He fires 5 to 8 shots. He hit a Secret Service agent. We knew that last night. Non-life-threatening injury. Saved by his bullet vest. Secret Service agents inside the ballroom immediately yell, shots fired. They rush President Trump, Melania, VP Vance off the stage to secure a hold. He was tackled. I don't know how this guy, and I saw Wolf saying this early on Discord, I don't know how this guy somehow managed to get peacefully subdued and I guess tackled and restrained. I don't know how they didn't blow this guy's head off. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like the other events, how didn't they blow this guy's head off for doing the crazy ish that he tried to do, you know? It's crazy to me. Let me see here. Okay. So in the immediate aftermath, the ballroom was locked down. Guests were ducking under the table. There was a lot of viral moments, and one of them was Kash Patel, which I don't. We're gonna look at it. I don't think there's much significance there. It does look kind of funny. I don't know, but there's a lady that spoke out, and I saved the clip somewhere where she had said he was telling people get under the table, get under the table. But it looks just kind of funny, I guess, with all the controversy. He's sitting there with everybody else. The RFK Jr thing is kind of interesting. I don't know. I guess his security grabs him, and they start rushing off, and his wife is trying to chase after them, and she gets left behind. Nobody cares. Wait. I guess no, she doesn't matter. I guess. I guess their main person is the junior or VP Vance or whatever the case is. I guess he didn't even turn around and no, get my wife. I love her. He dipped. He said, "F her. I'm out of here." He dipped. So anyway, okay, so he was tackled by the checkpoint staircase. Place was locked down. I'm gonna show you there was some crazy stuff going on too, because there was the people at this event, I guess after everything subsided, there's people stealing wine bottles, champagne bottles, and another, I saved it somewhere. Somebody else was like chugging a wine bottle. They were here having the time of their lives after this whole thing happened. Meanwhile, Cash is getting run under for alcohol, but they're all here at this event. The same people reporting on him about this shit are over here stealing bottles and, chugging it. Crazy. Let's see here. So yeah, this guy, Allen, the suspect's highly educated teacher of the month. In December 2024, worked as a tutor for C2 Education in Torrance, California. Part of a group, which I thought this was interesting because his sister had supposedly, I guess they spoke to the news or something. She said he was part of a group called the Wide Awake and attended the No Kings protest in California. Okay. They said that the brother did notify New London police, I guess in Connecticut, after receiving the manifesto. The sister was interviewed by Secret Service in the Montgomery County Police Department in Maryland. She said he often talked about doing something to fix the world and had radical statements. Purchased 2 handguns and a shotgun from Cap Tactical Firearms, stored at parents' home. And I'm wondering who's this home here? Is it his home or is it mommy and daddy's? Let me just check on you guys real quick. All good? His sister ratted him wide open. No bottle left behind. Oh my gosh. Dana White. Yo, Dana White, we're gonna get to that too. Dana White was like excited, ecstatic. Like, yeah, oh my god. I'm gonna show that too. Let's see what else. So we got the weapons, the motive. He admitted and he stated he wanted to assassinate Trump. I don't think somebody like this obviously clearly didn't have a your plan was to bum rush the place and hope that you get to the president. You think nobody's gonna shoot and kill you? You know? So let me do this. I'm gonna play a little bit of this former Secret Service guy. I thought this was a good interview. And then we're gonna get into a bunch of different clips. And I figure, we just have to update the story, and go over some of this.
We know more right now than we knew 30 minutes ago. And so, just from preliminary observations of what I witnessed, it appeared that this individual breached what I would consider the very outer layer of protection, according to the closed circuit television.
And like I explained, like he breached the outer layer because he was already on the inside. He had booked a room there, so he was already there.
Cameras that were recording, it appeared that he breached at a high rate of speed of running with a weapon towards that first layer of protection into what we would call the middle perimeter, where those magnetometers would have been. I've been in this room before multiple times. I was just there during the inauguration. And what I will tell you is that there's quite a bit of difference or distance, I guess I should say, from where the president was and where this event took place. Still in the same vicinity, obviously, but I don't believe that the president was in any harm at the moment, based upon his proximity to where the shooter was. One of the things that I observed right away was, if you look at the television or the camera, one of the agents towards the bottom left could see someone approaching very fast, and he's right-handed, and so he initially went to draw, and as he drew, the individual approached, and then I don't know which agent was shot, but I think I know that it was the agent that was standing by the table based upon his reaction. Not real sure. We'll find out. But you could see that the observation of the agents and the law enforcement officers were very keen. They could see the threat coming. It just happened so fast. And what I'll tell you is that, based upon my observations of what happened outside the room as that was unfolding, and what happened inside the room with the presidential protective detail and the shift agents responding to the president, getting him safe and the first lady safe, the counter assault team then taking the stage, setting up their perimeter, which I'm a former counter assault team operator and presidential protective detail agent. It appeared that this happened very, very fast, and it was very well done.
Yes, and by all accounts, everyone is saying how quickly that everyone moved to try to.
Maybe his plan was just a bum rush and hope for the best, possibly. They also said that the manifesto clearly stated he wanted to target the administration officials. He also had a ton of anti-Trump, anti-Christian rhetoric. The brother notified New London PD. The police interviewed the sister. Some of the following highlights from the interview: Alan said her brother had a tendency to make radical statements, and his rhetoric constantly referenced a plan to do something to fix the issues with today's world. Confirmed that Allen purchased 2 handguns and a shotgun. He kept this shit at his parents' home, stored them at their parents' home, and their parents were unaware that Allen was keeping firearms in the home. He regularly went to the shooting range to train with his firearms. Allen was part of a group called the Wide Awakes, which I think they need to be looked at. Who's the Wide Awakes? The Wide Awakes. A bunch of Dungeons and Dragons people gathering together. Allen attended the No Kings protest. Okay. They also found, Jack Posobiec posted this. They also found his he had a Blue Sky. Oh no, hell no. He had a Blue Sky account. This is a social media platform for people more that are liberal, Democrat, whatever. Like, it says, I'm a random Californian guy with posts about American politics, support for Ukraine, and observations of small creatures. I choose my own battlefields, not through my blood, but with my heart. I stand on the battlefield to protect what I want. Ooh, okay, I'm getting sent more clips. We're gonna load it up. Okay. No. Let me do this real quick. Okay. Some more posts. We're not gonna get into the whole article, but some more posts. Every single one of these effing charlatans would support the Antichrist himself if he spotted enough anti-immigrant and anti-trans shit as he rode through town. In response to a clip of Trump saying, I ask questions from very intelligent lunatics, you people, I give the right answers. There's never a scandal. There's never a problem. I give you answers that solve your little problems. Alan shared a gif of an animated criminal thug character delivering a violent slap. Okay. A violent slap. It's a cartoon. Okay. So, yeah, a lot of posts. Anti-Trump. I believe he feels Trump is a Nazi. It's the same thing a lot of these people have been pushing for all this time. Trump is looking at ways to ban transgender Americans from owning guns. He says, best time to buy a gun was greater than or equal to your state's waiting period days ago. Second best time is today. So just somebody very deeply caught up in, I guess, politics and what's going on. Let me queue up some other stuff.
Protect the president and also journalists in the room and members of the cabinet and the first lady. And thank goodness that agent is going to be okay because he had on a protective vest. So that's all good news. One of the things that's coming up, and we're hearing about a potential suspect. He's from Southern California, from Torrance, reportedly. 31-year-old Cole Allen of Torrance, a teacher. And supposedly he was staying right there in the hotel. They were allowing guests to stay in the hotel, even though this very high-profile event was.
And I said this last night. I wouldn't, if I was Trump, just trying to put myself in that mental, with all the stuff that happened with ICE and the way they were treating ICE agents, and then they succumbed and kind of, tried to be, I don't know, bipartisan, I guess, if that's the word. But we all know it's like Tucker Carlson. You know what I'm saying? Like Tucker Carlson, when those text messages leaked out, private conversations with the lawsuit, how he hated Trump, like despised this guy with every fiber of his gut being. And then after, oh no, we're cool, we're friends. I'm not gonna be cool with you. If I see some shit like that, we're not gonna be cool. We're not, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be at the Hilton. Nah. And it was crazy. It was the first time Trump attended that event. He's never attended it before.
Taking place. Was that wise?
I mean, the president attends multiple events throughout the year that public are allowed to stay. There are, without getting into detail, there are countermeasures that are put in place to keep those individuals at a safe distance from the president. I don't think that this individual was in any way close enough to the president, even though he was staying in that hotel.
Well, he was able to get into that area where they were screening, right? And this part remains a little unclear to me as to whether he got beyond the screening or he was just beginning to approach it when he charged. And from
I had read he got a little bit beyond it. Let me see. When I was looking at this, and I was kind of looking up information, he registered at the hotel as a guest the day before. He went down to the terrace level, one floor below the main lobby. He went down to the terrace level. He ran and sprinted towards the main magnetometer, the metal detector checkpoint, which is right outside the ballroom. He charged past Secret Service at the checkpoint and set off the detectors. Detectors fired 5 to 8 shots, hitting one agent. Yo, I'm sorry. It started like the pouring rain, like loud as hell, out of nowhere again. Okay, sorry. So yeah, he runs past the detectors. He made it only a short distance past the checkpoint before he was tackled and subdued. The magnetometer was the last major layer before the secure ballroom area. Okay. I think some are kind of downplaying it. This was the last major because he just booked the place there. So it said he sprinted about 60 feet past the magnetometer before reaching the top of the staircase. Remember, there's like a staircase, and it would have to go down to go to the other bottom level. He sprinted 60 feet past the checkpoint, supposedly, according to the Washington Post, before reaching the top of the staircase, which leads down to the international ballroom. He never entered the ballroom, but he was like there. So, I mean, you know, if it was somebody trying to come and kill you, this former Secret Service wouldn't be down. Oh, yeah, nah, man. If somebody was legit coming to kill me and they only made it outside of my door, oh, well, it wasn't really a threat. It wasn't a threat to you because you're in some alternate reality. That's a threat, you know?
People who are giving, eyewitness accounts, they said he was moving at a fast rate, and the agents got...
Like a bat out of hell, like a rat. We talked about that last night. Scrambling. I was like, Jesus, what the hell's up with this guy?
Right in there.
Yeah, it appears, like I said, it appears that he was on that outer ring of perimeter security where there would not have been any magnetometers. It would have been the initial entry point. And then in that secondary middle perimeter is where those magnetometers would have been, which is why I think what he saw was that he wasn't going to be able to approach with those weapons and, at least maybe get past the first layer of security, which is more of an observational security perimeter, and then the secondary, which is where you go through the metal detectors, and then you have the technology that the Secret Service uses to detect these particular...
Oh, please, the technology. As if there's some secret top level. No, you're at the Hilton Hotel.
Particular types of weapons. I think that what happened is he probably realized that he was going to be thwarted, and his only option was to try to breach that at a high rate of speed by running and shooting his way through. And so this just goes to show you that it doesn't matter how good the security is. I mean, the Secret Service, regardless.
Okay, I want to play this clip that I was just sent. Again, I have a lot of stuff, so I'm going to try to get through it, move, shake, and pop. So Nick Sorter just posted this and said, wow, President Trump just reamed the CBS reporter for reading off the WHCA dinner's manifesto, referring to the admin officials as PDF files. I'm not a PDF file. You read that crap from some sick person. Your friends on the other side of the plate are the ones who were involved with Epstein. Oh, snap. Let's check it out. Oh.
So-called manifesto is a stunning thing to read, Mr. President. He appears to reference a motive in it. He writes this, quote, administration officials, they are
That's crazy. He already did a 60 Minutes interview? What the shit? What?
Targets. And he also wrote this. I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people. Horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me.
Well, who else, lady? You're going to play dumb.
I didn't rape anybody.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Yo, she's trying to pretend like, oh my gosh. Why would you ask him the question in the first place? Oh. Oh, you think? Oh, he was referring to you. Oh, I didn't know. Oh,
Excuse me. I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap from some sick person. I got associated with all stuff that has nothing to do with me. I was totally exonerated. Your friends on the other side of the plate are the ones that were involved with, let's say, Epstein or other things. But I said to myself, you know, I'll do this interview and they'll probably, I read the manifesto, you know, he's a sick person, but you should be ashamed of yourself reading that, because I'm not any of those things.
Mr. President,
and I
these
was
are
never,
the gunman's
excuse me,
words.
excuse me. You shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace. But go ahead, let's finish the interview.
The other thing that he wrote in
You're
the
disgraceful.
the other thing in the manifesto.
Oh man, jeez. Yeah, that just came out. Okay, let me keep going through what we have. Yeah, this is the video. Cole Allen, in his own words, the California computer scientist, 31 years old, accused of opening fire. He is an elite trained engineer from Caltech, where students with perfect SAT scores gain admission. Let's take a look at this clip. A lot of people talked about this earlier today.
Cole Allen developed a prototype for a wheelchair emergency brake.
The wheelchair brakes tend to lock the wheels, but don't actually lock the chair to the ground. The idea with this is to prevent it from moving at all.
Recent Aging into the Future conference held by St. Barnabas Senior Services and the Eisner Foundation offered a test run on products that have the potential to enrich the lives of seniors. 14 different tech startups got to present to over 350 people in the hopes of getting their projects into some sort of senior health facilities. College student Cole Allen developed a prototype.
Pretty crazy. I'm gonna get to this part in a second. So they're saying, some people, I know Laura Loomer had said this, some people had claimed that security was poor.
You know, Steph, it is honestly unconscionable. Just like you, I've been to many White House Correspondent Dinners. I've been going for the last 10 years, but this year I actually showed up to the Hilton shortly after 8 p.m. And I actually took a scooter right up to the front of the Hilton driveway. And this matters because, as you know, usually there's a lot of protesters outside of those barricades before you can actually enter into the driveway of the Hilton. But this year, there were no protesters outside. Come to find out, the people were actually milling about into the lobby. When I got off of the scooter and in front of the barricade, usually you have to show ID and a ticket. The folks at the security at the gate, and these were not agents, the Secret Service agents, they were not identified as Secret Service agents that I could see at the gate, but they did not ask me to show ID, and they did not even ask me to show a ticket. They said, "Oh, you're good. I'm sure you're going to your room. I am not staying at the Washington Hilton." As I entered into the driveway, I saw the president's vehicle. The Beast was driving around in the circle of the Hilton driveway, and people were walking around near it, taking photos. Secret Service was not keeping a perimeter, and it ran around about 2 or 3 times while I was outside. When I entered into the Hilton, I asked Secret Service agents, which I saw they were identified as Secret Service agents, which way the ballroom was, and they said they didn't know. When I finally got my way onto the elevator, no one asked me to show ID, no one asked me to show a ticket. I got all the way down to the red carpet area without ever showing a ticket to anyone in the Hilton. I'm saying it like this because this is unusual.
Some people were saying, yeah, the security wasn't up to par. Not, let's see here. Now, Kash Patel, this clip went viral. There's 2 clips, really. Kash Patel. I mean, it is a funny clip, but realistically, too, I don't know what they would expect him to do. Like, is he going to pull out a gun or something, start shooting? But this just looks funny, though. Oh shit! I thought she had her hands up because she was afraid. No, she had her hands up to record. Oh, okay. So there's that clip that went viral. There's another clip that went viral too, where Kash Patel was outside, and it kind of looked funny. I guess, you know, they said standing around outside like a random attendee. It just looks a little funny because it's like, I don't know. It's just.
Do you guys have any idea what happened in there?
Ma'am, I don't. Yeah. Sorry.
You don't even know.
Excuse me. Sorry. Excuse me. Exit left, please. Keep going. Yeah, you keep going. Where are you? Free press, people.
It's just kind of funny because he looks like somebody on the outside that has just no idea, no like this major event happened. He's just like shit.
You guys are touching time. Touching time. Where you at?
All right, guys, keep moving out, guys. Keep moving out. Yeah, he's down.
And there's Erica too. You know, I didn't even know she was at this event until I was sent the clip last night when we were live. But then I don't think we saw this. There was one where she was like crying. I think she said, "Just get me out of here." There's another clip of her outside apparently.
There are numerous police cars. Yeah, he's down. All right, guys, keep moving out that way.
Yeah. And then here's this clip that I just saw today, and I couldn't even believe this. I don't know what you guys think about this, but RFK. Okay, when the situation happened, when things are getting hot, and heavy, when your life is on the line, when you could die, they grabbed RFK, took off, and left the wife. Let's go. Because I don't know who the pregnant lady was. I'm assuming this is his wife right here. He's trying to grab. Hey! They just left their ass. Oh shit! What the hell was that? Damn, this guy's just like tossing stuff. Was something in the way? It's like just tossing tables and chairs and shit. Podiums. Get out of the way! He's just pushing shit over. I guess maybe it was in the way. I guess maybe. Well, he came and grabbed her a little bit after. They remembered. Oh yeah, I forgot about this lady. Wow. And RFK never once turned around. My wife, the love of my life. No, don't leave her. Hey! That man dipped. He was gone. He was gone, yo. If I was married and I had a wife, I would have caught hell for that shit. Oh, you left me. I thought you loved me. Oh. And then Dana White, it's really crazy too, because when this happened, Dana White, I didn't see this until today. Last night I did see, I don't know if it was on live or I got off. I saw his after reaction. He was like, "Oh, that was exciting. I loved it." They said get down, but I stood up or I stayed there. And it's literally what it is. He's literally, this whole situation is going down and he's smiling. You gonna zoom it in a little bit? He's smiling. He's like excited. Oh yeah. It's like he's watching a live movie in person. Not even ducking, you know, not to preserve himself or save his life. He's just like, oh shit, it's going down. Who's screaming USA?
They were screaming, "Get down." I didn't get down. It was fucking awesome. I literally took every minute of it in.
He's just standing there.
Pretty crazy, unique experience.
It's like one of those rich people that are just like so bored with life that like anything. Oh, it's exhilarating. It was like the movies where people like tortured or something, or like I don't know. I mean, I know in some events people just like people react differently. So normally, where people would duck and cover and run, some people just stand still. I guess like as like some type of shock response or whatever. But he wasn't like still in shock. He was like, ah, yes. It's like it wasn't that kind of reaction. The wine bottles, man, this shit was crazy too. I didn't know this happened until today. I was kind of busy today, but I was just like bookmarking as much as I could as I saw it pop up. These heifers over here ain't got no class. I don't know if they paid for the seats or not. Somebody said they paid for the seats. And some people were arguing, well, what happens to the bottles after the open bottles? They just throw it away, and you're recycling and preserving nature by stealing and chugging it, I guess. I don't know. This lady didn't chug it. There's another clip I found somewhere where we'll see it. Or a picture. Oh, I don't want to play the music. Yeah, she over here in slow motion and not 4K, but somehow these people still have the oldest quality of video. I don't know what that is, but she takes the champagne bottle. Oh. Don't let a tragedy go to waste, right? As Hillary said. Wow. It looks like a champagne bottle and a bottle of wine. Damn. Oh, yeah, it's good. We're going to the after party. Everybody got their bottles too. Look at these other people. So that cone says 15,000 per ticket. I had read like they paid 300 something per plate. You're saying I'm gonna try to look that up. You're saying 15,000. I'll walk out with a bottle too if I paid 15K. Let me see. Let's see. The attendees had to pay. Let's see what's real, what's not, or whatever. Damn, yeah. Standard ticket prices for the White House Correspondent Dinner. Individual plate between 300 and 350 per person. The table price. That's the official price in the news organization per regular tickets. Table price usually 3,000 to 3,500 for a table of 10. Tickets are only sold to approved organizations. 15,000, that's usually refers to high-end sponsorships, VIP tables, or after parties. Damn, some corporations and big media companies spend tens of thousands of dollars, even 100K or 300K, on hosting their own pre or post parties, buying multiple tables. Hell no. I'd walk out with this shit too. I'm paying all the grind. Wow. So let me see what I'm gonna pull here. Okay, this is one of the interesting things people were talking about. This guy used AI too to enhance this video of the situation last night. Let me show this video. I haven't watched this yet. Enhanced video. Man, bro, like Sonic. They couldn't barely even react to him. In his head, he must have thought he was like a superhero. He just like Flash or something. Just a bat out of hell. He's AI though, so he can barely even react. Why does this guy have a do-rag? This guy, the real video, he's not wearing a do-rag, right? Secret Service. By the way, there was a viral post where somebody posted and said that the guy was married and here's his Indian wife, and they put a picture of a lady and her, I don't know if that's a passport or something. They're saying it's not true. It got corrected, so I'm not going to even show that. Elon Musk tweeted too. He said, if you're willing to die to assassinate, imagine what they will do if they gain political power. And here was JD Vance. I didn't see this until today too. He got snatched out by Secret Service. Play that again. Guy shrugs on him. Oh, we gotta go. He almost resisted at first.
Where's it at?
I think if that guy would have walked inside of the ballroom, if he would have somehow made it inside, he would have got lit like a Christmas tree. He would have gotten lit by everybody in that room. I don't know what he was thinking. Let's see what these are here. This is a really funny post too. Let's see about the other one. The Atlantic, Kash Patel has a drinking problem. Bum, bum, bum. Oh yeah, Tucker Carlson. Some people think it's staged. A lot of people think it's staged. Tucker Carlson.
Just a coincidence or another staged incident?
Oh. Ooh.
It will be classic. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room.
Hours before the chaos, Caroline Leavitt told America to watch tonight because Donald Trump would bring the heat and there would be shots fired.
Oh.
Then suddenly, real shots were fired near the White House Correspondents.
Oh. The shots fired thing, I tweeted about it. I joked about it. I don't think that this chick knew the shooting was going to happen and she's like, oops, she had a slip up or something. I think she literally, how people use the word verbiage, like, oh, shots fired. You're going to talk shit about somebody. We're going to go back and forth. Shots fired. Not in the literal sense of the term, but it's crazy though, you know, that it happened.
Dinner, shots fired. The Secret Service rushes in and they let Trump continue to sit there. And now they're going to resume the White House Correspondents Dinner and Trump still plans to deliver a speech. I'm not saying this was staged to boost Trump's tanking approval numbers, but it's certainly...
The only thing with Tucker, man, is just this guy is so bitter. I get it. Okay, they disagreed and all that stuff too, but he's become like so bitter. And his brother got fired from the White House. And Trump had snapped on them. His brother got fired, and then he brings his brother on to do a podcast. And come on, audio. Oh, let me fix that. Mic check. There we go. So he brings him on after getting fired, and you could just tell. Like I just know he's very, very bitter and upset.
Tanking approval numbers, but it certainly looks odd. Trump was rushed out, guests hid under tables, Secret Service swarmed the room. So the question everyone is asking now, how did they know? Was shots fired just political slang or a chilling phrase that aged horribly within hours? Americans deserve transparency. If this was a real attack, security failures must be exposed. If it was political theater, that would be...
So he says if it was political theater and then highlights the other assassination attempt. It wasn't the last, I think. The other guy was Mar-a-Lago, but was this political theater? And then they put this picture of
theater. That would be one of the biggest manipulations in modern history. Until the full truth comes out, millions will keep asking the same question. Coincidence?
Man. The Blue Sky stuff, there's a bunch of posts because apparently the account got banned now on Blue Sky, but people archived it. So there's somebody that has like I'm not going to go through all this now. I said the link below. There's somebody that has the archive link. Huh? This was 4 days ago. Musk Does Musk happen to be starting any cults? Because if he has a foul, wait, what? Where'd it go? Because if he's following the rest of this, he should have started doing so a while back. And I thought I heard something about him having a bunch of wives and compounds. What a weird post. Okay. He does have a lot of baby mama, whatever. Test tube babies, I guess. But this one has to be a formative text for Musk. Everything is too close for there to be no relation. Okay. Yeah, he was looking at the Iran war too. I saw something about ballistic missiles. Ukraine. Delete would. Delete everything after himself. Add an S directly after support. So yeah, they got his stuff archived. People are gonna have to scrub through or have AI scrub through. This is the lady that said she was next to Kash Patel.
So I was sitting right next to FBI Director Kash Patel, and we were having another conversation as soon as the gunshots were fired, and we didn't know what it was, but pretty quickly he told me to get under the table. And I don't know if it was him or someone else, because in the heat of the moment, I mean, you're trying to figure out what's going on and everybody's rushing. Felt, I think it was him, grab me and say, get under the table. He was telling everyone to get under the table, asking us if we were okay. And then saw him on the phone, grab his girlfriend. They had to get out of there. Obviously, we saw him help give part of the press conference in the White House press briefing room. Obviously, this was not at all what any of us expected that night. Very, very traumatic situation for all of us. So I was sitting.
Okay, that was somebody there. This is his university graduation video. I don't know if you guys saw this already. University graduation.
Thomas.
That was Thomas. Okay. Damn, bro, this is great. These people are nuts, yo. When people fled the White House Correspondents Dinner shooting incident, they swiped entire bottles on their way up. Damn, yo. Hey, man, YOLO. A sip here, a chug there. How about 2 bottle? Huh? Oh yeah, everybody walking off, man. That's maybe that's customary, maybe that's a customary thing. I paid for the table. This is my ish. It could be customary. Now there was this other thing that let's see. Oh, we got to do the manifesto too. This was kind of funny. This clip I saw here right before I got live. Oh my God, it's chaos. Meanwhile, the cameraman. Cameraman never dies.
There's the president being escorted. The president being escorted out.
Some of the other posts from this, the shooter, I found Cole Allen's archived tweets. He predicted Kamala wins all swing states compared to Trump's win to Nazis getting elected and moved to blue sky. Scary part is he retweeted every mainstream Democrat on his platform. Thread below. What radicalized him were the same talking points repeated every day. Leaving for bluer skies. As soon as I get my data archive, I don't think there's much reason to be on here anymore. The only thing humorous about America is not having learned from Germany about what happens when Nazis get elected is that Russia may not have learned from the USSR about what happens when it makes agreements with Nazis. See, some of these people, like, they've been so, like, hearing the same thing for years and months that they're just, like, like they feel activated. They feel like they're breaking Jews out of the encampment or something. The encampments. It's also, it's just like that they thinking they're more than what they are. You're some special like hero. You know, you have to activate. It's almost like a call to action what the media has been doing. A younger Mel. So I heard supposedly, I didn't see it when I was live. People were saying I look like this. Damn, I guess. Shit, yo, I don't know. Curly hair though. Like he has more curly hair. I guess maybe I can see it a little bit. Damn. Leading up to, wait. Okay, that's down here. Let's see that. Leading up to the 2024 election, Cole Allen repeatedly shared Kamala Harris and Media's touch. Oh, Midas touch. Is it Midas or Media's? Breaking: Taylor Swift endorses VP Kamala Harris. He's a Swiftie. That makes sense. Those Swifties are violent, kind of. Like they'll target your ass. Don't mess with the Swifties. Cole Allen retweeted mainstream Democrats comparing Trump to Hitler. See, some people is just like, I don't know, man. They're so like far gone. You know, if it's getting to the point where it's doing this to you, turn off the TV. Just delete your social media. If it's really having a bad mental effect on you, turn off. If I could shut off my phone, both of my phones. I could shut off my phones and it would close out. You know, I could just go garden and go about my day if I wanted to. If I wanted to take like a complete isolation, I don't have to. You don't have to. I don't know why some people subject themselves to hell and continually choose to live in that hell. You know? It's crazy. And willing to die for it. Some people have fallouts with their family. Never talking to mom, never talking to dad again because they politically have differences. They have, you know, different beliefs. I've heard of stories. I don't talk to my mother anymore. People are like throwing themselves to the fire for something that really might not even be in your control. Based on Iowa predicting that Kamala wins all swing states and at least 3 red states. Damn. What else? Mainstream to Hitler. After the 2024 election, he believed that the mainstream Democrat narrative was fascist convicted felon, had become president. Cole Allen shared Democrat conspiracies popular on X, including claims that Trump staged Butler assassination. He also shared posts about Elon Musk Starlink stealing the 2024 election. Okay. What else? Shared posts claiming Tulsi Gabbard was a Russian asset. Russia is nakedly lobbying for favor of Tulsi. Cole shared posts referring to Trump's cabinet as rapist, spy, zealot, and anti-vaxxer. Were you a good boy, Cole? Did you get all your vaccines and booster shots? Banning the vaccines. Get your family vaccinated. He must have got all the. Maybe that's what sent him crazy and shit. Or kept taking the booster shot. They keep coming out with the updates, and he just keeps injecting himself with this random shit every year. Hey, I'm not saying if you want to take it, take it. I'm not telling you what to do, but were you a good boy, Cole? Cole Allen retweeted a post saying, "Voting for Jill Stein is such embarrassing shit." Another read, "We'll either have the first woman president or the end of America." What the hell? It's either a woman or America's done. Wow. Truly fascist. Just name Putin as director of national intelligence. Biden should nullify the election to save our democracy. What doesn't? That sounds kind of like a Nazi or a fascist to me. What? What? Well, made all the sense there. Democrats stop playing by the rules. He's sure to marry L. Trump. Isn't that, was that his sister or something? Disgruntled sister? Is that Trump's sister? He's sure that Democrats stop playing by the rules. A lot of these people have been encouraging this shit. And that's the thing, is you don't know out there who's having some type of, they're off or feeling activated or whatever. All right, that shit goes on. That's crazy. So this person did a really good job with these posts. I'm going to retweet it. Kanoka. Oh, thing went viral too. Wow. Let me see. It's not worth your life. You know, he seemed like maybe he had a future ahead of him. Something wasn't right though. Something wasn't right. And Marjorie Taylor, I guess she's upset. And her only complaint is, why does every shooter have a manifesto? Most shooters' manifestos remain classified so they don't inspire more. She sounded like some type of, I don't know. Why did they release Cole Allen's manifesto almost immediately? I'm 1,000 for releasing. What? Bro. What? Why does every shooter have a manifesto? Most shooters' manifestos remain classified so they don't inspire more would-be shooters. Why did they release it? I'm 1,000% for releasing the manifesto. I'm for releasing all shooters' information, including the SSRIs they're on. Well, I agree with, yeah, maybe they should. Those drug companies are protected. They should put that out too. That's the one thing they don't put out. They redact it. But I want to know why the Trump admin released. She's just another bitter person that just like, I mean, your whole focus is something that doesn't even matter. Like, that's not the story. Oh, they released it too. So when Marjorie, should we have gotten your permission to release it? When is okay for you? Even though you said they shouldn't release it, but then you say you're 1,000% for releasing it. What is the guideline that you present that we should follow? The world should follow. It's crazy. Okay. Okay. So there was this conspiracy. Kind of. It's not really a conspiracy. It's just interesting. And some people have noticed, and I'm sorry I have to play this video. Brian Krassenstein, the Krassenstein brothers. But he had kind of broke it down in a video, and he kind of, I guess, did a good job.
Probably one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. The shooter from last night's name was Cole Allen, but there's a Twitter account from 2023. And this account made one post, and it was...
So this account went viral last night. This account, Henry Martinez, has one post, and it's the shooter's name, so people believe it's the shooter that posted this.
Almost 2.5 years ago, and it was just Cole Allen. Now here's where it gets wilder. The header of this account is an image from a website called Time Machine, which is a project to preserve digital use of our heritage. But it gets even wilder. If you superimpose the image of Butler over it, there's an outline of Trump. Probably one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. The shooter from last night's name was Cole Allen, but there's...
So I don't know that Henry Martinez. Just kind of interesting, strange. Where's the account? I don't know if it's still up. Oh, there it is. That shit has 34 million views. Oof. Wow. Mamma mia. 34 million. I think some of these people too, they think that they're saving the world. You know, like they're doing the world a service. And there's people that are, every time this kind of stuff happens, they're cheering it on and they're saying, why'd you miss, and all this stuff. Let's get to the manifesto. I feel like most of you probably have read it. I haven't read it, but I'm sure most of you maybe have, or some of you have. So I'm going to read this, but Viewer discretion is advised, strongly advised. This is material from the full manifesto that was published by the New York Post. We're reading it for news and commentary purposes only, public interest. I don't endorse it, obviously, but I guess I have to say I don't endorse this insanity, you know. But it is out, it's public, it's everywhere. I've seen everybody post, YouTubers and everybody posting it. So it was 1,052 word manifesto signed by Cole as Cold Force. Friendly federal assassin Allen outlined his rules of engagement for the shooting and stated he believed it was his righteous duty to target the administration officials. Cole Allen's manifesto is, here it is. Hello, everybody. So I may have given a lot of people a surprise today. Let me start off by apologizing to everyone whose trust I abused. So you're an admitted abuser. Okay. I apologize to my parents for saying I had an interview without specifying it was for Most Wanted. I apologize for my colleagues and students for saying I had a personal emergency. By the time anyone reads this, I'll probably most certainly do need to go to the ER, but can hardly call that not a self-inflicted status. I apologize to all the people I traveled next to all the workers who handled my luggage, and all the other non-targeted people at the hotel who I put in danger simply by being near them. I apologize to everyone who was abused and or murdered before this, to all those who suffered before I was able to attempt this, to all who may still suffer after, regardless of my success or failure. You really didn't do anything, though. You didn't accomplish a damn thing. Maybe he just likes the attention, though. But he didn't accomplish anything. In his head, he's like the soldier, the savior, an angel. Even in the way he writes this stuff, it's like he thinks he's more than what he is. He has, I guess, like good accomplishments, like educational, but I guess where does I don't know, it's not a great message for education, I guess. Where's the education shit lead you down to? Accolades in college or whatever. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, he apologizes to everybody, and I don't expect forgiveness, but if I could have seen any other way to get this close, I would have taken it. Again, my sincere apologies. On to why I did this. I'm a citizen of the United States of America. What my representatives do reflects on me. I'm no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. Well, to be completely honest, I was no longer willing a long time ago, but this was my first real opportunity. I've had to do something about it. While I'm discussing this, I'll also go over my expected rules of engagement. Probably in terrible format, but I'm not military, so too bad. Administration officials, not including Mr. Patel. So I wonder what he likes Mr. Patel is. They are targets, prioritized from high ranking to lowest. Secret Service, they are targets only if necessary, and to be incapacitated non-lethally. So this is like a video game to him. I'm going to do a karate chop to your neck. I'm going to choke you out like in Splinter Cell or Metal Gear Solid. We're going to take you to the back. I'm going to do non-lethal. I'm going to bum rush this place, do non-lethal attacks, whatever, and then do lethality to whoever I have to. AKA, I hope they're wearing body armor because center mass with shotguns messes up people who aren't. Hotel security, not targets, if at all possible, AKA unless they shoot at me. Capitol Police, same as hotel security. National Guard, same as hotel security. Hotel employees, not targets at all. Guests, not targets at all. In order to minimize casualties, I will also be using buckshot. So this is like an empathetic. This is what some of these people, how people like, I'm an empath. This guy was planning on carrying out this assassination, and he's like, well, I'm going to use these less lethal methods, and I'm going to use buckshot and less penetration through the walls. See, I care. I'm compassionate. I would still go through most everyone here. Okay. So he says all that and then says, I would still go through most everyone here to get to the targets if it were absolutely necessary, on the basis that most people choose to attend a speech by a pedophile, rapist, and traitor, allegedly, the case claims, and thus complicit. But I really hope it doesn't come to that. Rebuttals to objections. Objection number 1. As a Christian, you should turn the other cheek. Rebuttal. Turning the other cheek is for when you yourself are oppressed. I'm not the person barred in a detention camp. I'm not the fisherman executed without trial. I'm not the school kid blown up or a child starved or teenage girl abused by the many criminals in this administration. Turning the other cheek when someone else is oppressed is not Christian behavior. It is complicity in the oppressor's crimes. And so I guess he's saying, what is he anti-Christian, or he is Christian and saying this is being Christian is carrying out these attacks, I guess. Objection 2, this is not a convenient time for you to do this. I need whoever thinks this way to take a couple of minutes and realize that the world isn't about them. Do you think that when I see someone art or murdered or abused, I should walk on by because it would be it would be inconvenient for people who aren't the victim? This was the best timing and chance of success I could come up with. Objection 3, you didn't get them all. Rebuttal, got to start somewhere. You started kind of nowhere. Objection 4, as a half black, half white person, you shouldn't be doing this, the one doing this. Rebuttal, I don't see anyone else picking up the slack. This is just odd. And this is not even good. He hates Christians. Objection 5, yield unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Rebuttal, the United States of America are ruled by the law, not by anyone or several people, insofar as representatives and judges do not follow the law. No one is required to yield them anything so unlawfully ordered. I would also like to extend my appreciation to a great many people, since I will not likely be able to talk with them again unless Secret Service is astoundingly incompetent. Damn. And then he says, thank you to my family, both personal and church, for your love over the 31 years. My friends, he's doing shout outs, I guess. Thank you to my friends and for your companionship. Thank you for my colleagues over many jobs, for your positivity and professionalism. Thank you to my students for your enthusiasm and the love of learning. Thank you for my acquaintances I've met in person in life, for the short interactions and long-term relationships, for your perspectives and inspiration. Thank you all for everything. Sincerely, Cole, Cold Force, Friendly Federal Assassin, Allen. Okay, and now that all the sappy stuff is done, what the hell is Secret Service doing? Sorry, I'm gonna rant here for a bit and drop the formal tone. Like I expected, security cameras every bend, bugged hotel rooms, armed agents every 10 feet, metal detectors out the wazoo. What I got? Who knows? Maybe they're pranking me. Is nothing. No damn security. Not in the transport, not in the hotel, not in the event. Like the one thing that I immediately noticed walking into the hotel is the sense of arrogance. I walk in with multiple weapons. Not a single person there considers the possibility that I could be a threat. The security at the event is all outside, focused on protesters and current arrivals, because apparently no one thought about what happens if someone checks in the day before. Like, this level of incompetence is insane. And I very sincerely hope it's corrected by the time this country gets actually competent leadership again. Like, if I was an Iranian agent instead of an American citizen, I could have brought a damn Medusa in here and no one would have noticed shit. It's actually insane. Oh, if anyone is curious is how doing something like feels, it's awful. I want to throw up. I want to cry. For all the things I wanted to do and never will. For all the people whose trust this betrays, I experience rage thinking about it. Thinking about everything this administration has done. Can't really recommend it. Stay in school, kids. Thanks, teacher. Somebody here said, fairly intelligent guy. It's not easy to earn a degree in mechanical engineering. I know how difficult that is. He also has a master's in computer science. He seems to have been underemployed considering his educational achievements. Why wasn't he working as an engineer scientist? You don't need degrees to teach students. Whatever. Okay. Somebody said, obviously, you watch too much MSNBC. Bruh. That's wild. The only thing that was interesting to me at all in this whole thing was he talks about the lack of security, which I believe that's probably true. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. And this is not the place to have those kind of events, I don't think, anymore. So, yeah, I mean, I don't condone any of this stuff. You're throwing your life away. It doesn't make any more sense. Find another hobby, bro. Like, go rub one out. Go get I don't know, start building some other shit. Get another degree. Find some other purpose. Turn off the TV. Delete your social media. I don't know. Sometimes, like, is this for the attention? Is this for the attention? I don't know. Finally, he feels like he gets his, but you're going to be forgotten. It's a moment and then it's gone. And you're locked up in some hell. Everybody's going to move on. Nobody's going to know who you are. And you did a horrible job too. I mean, for being a scientist or whatever the fuck you are, supposedly educated, didn't mean shit when it came to this thing. It doesn't mean shit. That just goes to show you sometimes. It don't mean nothing. Okay, let me see, because there was other stuff I did pull up. Let me just clear some of this out, and we'll kind of I did kind of get a lot of the stuff I wanted. I just wanted to make sure I came and updated it today because there was so much stuff yesterday. Somebody said this was all staged to justify building the third temple at the White House. The architects are known for building Jewish temples. Oh, God. Oh, God. Uh-oh. This guy. Let's see. Okay. Trump on suspected gunman. I think the NFL should sign him up. He was fast. Yeah. This is.
You can see the gunman running through the metal detectors, and he fired off one or two rounds.
His speed was rather incredible. Actually, he was like a blur.
How did he get that close with the place swarming with security?
I will say, look, I say it because I'm a big fan of the people of law enforcement. And, you know, some of these people, they may be crazy, but they're not stupid, and they figure things out. He ran 45 yards, they say, and he just went to it, and then, boom, he popped through it. I mean, he ran like, I think the NFL should sign him up. He was fast. When you look at it on tape, it's almost like a blur.
Right.
But it was amazing, because as soon as they saw that, you could see them draw their guns. They were so professional, aim their guns, and then they took them down immediately. It did.
I might have to watch that. I guess that came out today, the 60 Minutes thing. There's another clip. I might have to watch it after, maybe. Put on the TV, I guess.
Security moving quickly, within seconds, grabbing the vice president by his coat, lifting him up, bringing him out. Then the counter assault comes in. Took 10 seconds for them to flank you, Mr. President, and then 20 seconds to get you out. It looked chaotic. At one point, you were down. What was happening?
Well, what happened is it was a little bit me. I wanted to see what was happening, and I wasn't making it that easy for him. I wanted to see what was going on. And by that time, we started to realize maybe it was a bad problem, different kind of a problem, bad one, and different than what would be normal noise from a ballroom, which you hear all the time. And I was surrounded by great people, and I probably made them act a little bit more slow. I said, wait a minute, let me see, wait a minute. So, I'm telling guys.
Just at that moment where it looks like you go sort of down with the service, you were telling them to wait?
Well, no, what happened is then I started walking with them. I started walking, and they said, please go down on the floor. So I went down, and First Lady went down also, but we were asked to go down by the agents as I was walking. In other words,
They wanted you almost to crawl
I was
out.
standing up, pretty much. I was standing up and then turned around the opposite direction and started pretty much walking out, pretty tall, a little bent over because I'm not looking to be standing too tall. And but I was walking out. It was about halfway there, and they said, please go down to the.
Okay, so yeah, I guess they did some kind of 60 minutes interview. They've been out of the house. I mean, I think they finally left, but they were at the house till like this evening. Just staring at the house, I guess. I don't know, they had cameras set up there. This is Mark Dice. He did a video this morning. I thought it was pretty good. Just play a snippet
of them. Here's Van Jones, a surprising, occasional voice of reason.
I'm starting to worry about something, though, which is that the shooter survived, which means on Monday he's going to court, which means there is a danger that people try to make him some sort of hero.
Yeah, he compared it to Luigi Mangione. Here's some people.
Tune into the liberal media and
Hassan
into the
Piker.
liberal corners of the internet, including over on Twitch. Here is streamer Hassan Piker.
And you actually wrote about this, and it was a great video where you talked about, someone has to do it. See, when I say that, everyone knows.
And Hassan Piker is the one that said America deserved 9/11.
Exactly what I mean. That which is, I think that shows that there is a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, and untapped potential. Untapped revolutionary potential, as a matter of fact, and it's a great opportunity for organizing, I think, in these
It's a great opportunity, he says, to encourage such a thing, just like the whack jobs on TikTok, the just countless thousands and thousands and thousands of them.
Yo, can somebody just do it? Can somebody, anybody, just do it?
Somebody's got to do it. There has to be somebody out there that is willing to do it.
Who's going to take the initiative to do it? We all know it needs to be done, and somebody needs to do it.
If someone does it before the summertime, it's going to be like that one summer when everyone was playing Pokemon Go and everyone was a friend.
Gotta do it.
That's the guy that shocks and tortures his dog. If you don't know Hassan Piker, in the corner of his stream, he'd have like this little placement for his dog. And if the dog gets off and moves away from the 8-hour, 6-hour, 5-hour stream, if the dog, the prop, the organism propped that's in the corner there moves, he has some type of shock collar on his dog, and he'd be like, shock it. You know what I'm saying? He's the one, the damn talking about all this and that and human rights and all this other bullshit while torturing a dog on his live stream and all this shit. It's crazy.
For the good of everybody.
No strike, no nothing. Whatever.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
So it's going to be another week of the twits on TikTok, both celebrating.
Okay, so yeah, I wanted to show that. Another thing too that I want to show you is I personally feel that X has gone downhill. I like the platform, but I don't like the new changes. And these are the accounts that I believe it's hand selected. The accounts that they're prompted up, they get favor in the algorithm, whatever, and at the same time, these people all at the same time, almost in sync, they post almost the same shit. Oh, actually, Mark talked about that. Ashley St. Clair confirmed the White House runs group chats telling these accounts what to post within minutes of shots fired tonight. Before there was any news of casualties, and before the president said this exact talking point, he was the real time. So just everybody saying, and I mean, I think they actually kind of probably should get a ballroom. Now they should have a ballroom and stuff, but a lot of these accounts, they're in some kind of like group chat or whatever. They're told what to do and say, and they all jump on and post the same shit. Where is he? Let's see where he talked about it. Where did he talk about it? Up. Here. So it's a lot of the stuff is propped up. They handpick. Some of these streaming platforms too, they handpick who gets seen. There's no algorithm. I think that's what's the best thing about YouTube, and that's why no other platform can compete with that. And I appreciate the other platforms, but I'm just keeping it real because I've learned from at least 2 other places that they handpick. There was some other platform, they're like, oh yeah, we noticed you have a big channel on YouTube, but we want you to come over here. I'm not talking about Rumble. But we want you to exclusively stream here. I don't know how many hours without any kind of pay. Just start streaming here exclusively, and send me an email. And when you send it, we'll try to pick a day, but we'll put you on the top. People can see. There's nothing organic with some of these places, and I feel like that's what X has become. That they removed the organicness. A lot of it, whatever they've done, is I don't think it's going in a good place. I don't think it's going in a good place. We need the White House ballroom. I don't want to hear one more effing criticism of the Trump's new ballroom in the White House. This is why I need the ballroom.
House, which obviously, again, would be much more secure, are a bunch of mainstream MAGA posting that we need the White House ballroom now. I don't want to hear one more effing criticism of Trump's new ballroom at the White House, says Meghan McCain, libs of TikTok, Jack Posobiec, Congressman Randy Fine, all posting about this because these people are on mailing lists. These people are in retweet clubs. They're in group chats, and the directors are telling them what agenda they want to push out. Now, that doesn't mean that they staged the event so that they could push for the ballroom. Correlation does not mean causation if you know anything about statistics. But this is not a coincidence that a certain group of this same inner circle of social media personalities all of a sudden all started posting about the ballroom, because this is, well, how that little club works. They get their little talking points, they get paid, and they post like, well, kind of Operation Mockingbird asset.
It's true. And it's not just with this. I've noticed it for a long time on X. Sometimes like all these accounts post like almost the same. This was, at least they kind of changed it up a little bit. Maybe they're telling them, yo, we got to switch this up because people are catching on. But I've noticed for a long time, it's almost instantaneous and in sync and like almost word for word, all these big at the same time. I'm like, yo, this is automated. They're controlling this shit. They're controlling what you see or what they want you to see. And so Ashley St. Clair, which, you know, I wouldn't trust too I really wouldn't trust what she says, because I feel like she's a scorned woman with Elon Musk, but apparently she's ripping off the Band-Aid and exposing whatever, I guess everything. And she's the one saying too that the MAGA influencers are paid and they coordinate their messaging via group chat.
So,
and I believe it too, because there's some of the news pages on X that one time there was like a group chat leaked or something. And I had seen a lot of these pages that, I'm not saying there's anything wrong, but a lot of these pages are in these groups and something goes out, they all at the same time, you know, but this is kind of, I guess, somewhat different.
last week I told you guys that all of MAGA is paid and they coordinate their messaging in lockstep via group chats. And what do you know? All of these people came to the conclusion that after they saw what happened at the White House Correspondents Dinner, their first thought was all independently, Trump needs his ballroom. The statistical likelihood of this happening in a vacuum, if we are to stipulate that these people are not coordinated, the statistical likelihood of this happening, that they all came to the same conclusion, not probable, okay? I think it's also important to note that one of the main group chats in which they coordinate this messaging is literally called Fight, Fight, Fight after the attempt on Trump's life.
Oh, somebody see you hear a baby in the background? I think I did hear
One
that.
of the main group chats in which they coordinate this messaging is literally called Fight, Fight, Fight after the attempt that they all came to the same conclusion. Not probable.
If it was like, I'd be like, damn.
on Trump's life in Butler. Okay, and this has the official Trump war room, members of the administration, including James Blair, and all your favorite MAGA influencers. And I would log on and show you more of these messages, but I can't log on to Twitter because they're suing me for $75,000.
Oh, she's getting sued too. Ooh. Well, she's mad. Okay, let me see. I think we covered most of what I wanted to cover. I just wanted to tap in. Thank you guys last night for coming through. This lady says security was lax. This is the same lady that said the shooter was killed, and then I guess she was on scene and said the shooter was killed, this lady. That's where yesterday when I thought the shooter was killed, and I was like, oh shit, the shooter was killed. And everybody was saying it. This lady on scene said the shooter was killed. And then it wasn't true.
How did somebody get a gun into the White House Correspondents Dinner? Honestly, as somebody who went, there was no security. You just showed your ticket and you were able to completely get in. There was just no pat downs, no metal detectors, nothing going on. So really horrible setup. And I just don't even understand how that was a thing when the United States president was going to speak, who has already had assassination attempts on his life. So really crazy. How did somebody...
I don't know.
He fucking staged this to get his goddamn ballroom, and he's not even hiding it. Just watch.
I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone-proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it.
Speech tonight will be classic.
Shots were fired. He left Melania under a table. He left Caroline Leavitt, who's like 9 months pregnant, under a table, and he was just like rushed off there, not off the grounds, like as though they knew everything else was secure. Then he comes out and he's like, the show's got to go on. We're going to continue the festivities. But first, a brief intermission while I give this bullshit.
Well, they have to. I mean, I understand the RFK thing was funny, but with Trump, like the Secret Service, I would assume that the priority is the president. I understand the wife and the Levitt and all this stuff, but at the end of the day, in the reality, they got to get Trump out of there. Or not, whatever. So check this clip out. No Kings.
He had attended a No Kings protest in California.
No Kings. Yeah.
What did security tell you about what may have been his motives?
The reason you have people like that is you have people doing no kings. I'm not a king. What I am, if I was a king, I wouldn't be dealing with you.
He had.
The pre-K teacher who filmed a video saying she's deeply sad that she did not wake up to the news of President Trump's assassination has been identified. Oh, damn, they put her name out. There's the school. Okay. Now we're branded. Okay. Wow.
Man, there's been a few creators on here saying that like Friday or yesterday could have been the day. And then I wake up to that news, but not.
You know what is what's interesting to me is that these people too, just in general, they think if they woke up and Trump was dead, that their life is going to get better. In the moment, maybe they're cheering or they're popping a bottle. Your life is not going to get better. I've said this so many times. The best thing you can do in your life is improve on yourself. Try to do whatever you need to do, whether it's working out, whatever it is. The best thing you can do is you yourself. This political shit, whoever's in office, it's not going to really change shit for you unless you go and change it yourself. That's just kind of the reality. I mean, there's things, pricing and expenses and all that, but your day is not going to get any better. You're still going to be miserable. A couple days after, a week after, 2 weeks out, you're still going to be the same miserable, depraved person. It's not, your life is just going to get better. I'm telling you. Oh, and this was the other big thing. So people were saying, I saw this last night. I think it was after I got off, and they were like, "Oh my God, Erica's already dating somebody." I saw a post. I'm like, she's not what? This is a big Fox reporter. I think his name is Lawrence something. Oh yeah, Lawrence B. Jones. This is a Fox reporter. They just took a picture together. People, oh my gosh, she's with a new man. Oh.
But it's not a joke, right? It's not, we are not in some form of literally articulated type like puppet mastering situation. I'm a married man, okay? I've been married for almost 5 years. If I lost my wife to something like that, it's a fucking joke, people. And it's time for you to wake up and realize what is actually taking place.
Damn, bro, that's kind of sad. These people don't. For the people that are so entrenched in this shit, and for some of these people that are willing to lose their lives over this shit, they don't even know. Like anybody that follows or kind of watches the news a bit, maybe more than average. This is the Lawrence guy.
But it's not a joke, right? It's not. We are not in some form.
Isn't he married with kids and shit?
Literally articulated type like puppet mastering situation. I'm a married man, okay? I've been married for almost 5 years. If I lost my wife to something like that, it's a fucking joke, people. And it's time for you to wake up and realize what is actually taking place. Because as long as they continue to do this and they have the empathy and the support, they're going to continue to do it. And here, I'm going to leave you one last thing before I go, because this one is wildly frustrating, okay? They let you vote. Think about that.
They let you vote? What? They're saying too that this was a teacher on TikTok saying he spends all day, every day praying for Trump's death. Imagine what he's teaching children. That's my only thing. It's like, I understand, if you disagree, you don't like him or you hate him, I get it. I don't know, but I guess that's how people feel, though. And it's just kind of wild for me to see.
I wake up each morning hoping he has died. I go to bed each night hoping by the time I get up in the morning, he has died. I'm fully convinced that we can't even begin to start fixing any of our problems until he has died. For the love of all things good, just fucking die!
Wow, that's crazy. Supposedly that's a teacher. So here, a reporter, thank you for tagging me, Maggie. A reporter said, my thoughts on the security at the White House last night, the event. The first exterior security for me was on the street outside of the hotel. I flashed my ticket and was waved through in 1 second. My name was not checked against any list. I showed no ID. I was not patted down. Maybe I'll show you guys. Let me just show you just have something on the screen. Yeah, this guy here, this is a popular, yeah, I've heard of the name. I don't really, like, face I don't recognize, but name, yes. So he's talking about his experience there, and this is what some of the stuff that I've heard or seen from other people, supposedly, that the first security, which maybe wouldn't matter because he was already in the hotel because he booked it prior, but he said he flashed his ticket, just flash. I was waved through in 1 second. My name was not checked against any list. I showed no ID. I was not patted down and did not go through a metal detector. I probably could have shown a ticket from a prior year or a fake one, as they barely looked at it. I don't know who that exterior security was. They were a guy in suits. From that point, I walked into the hotel with no further security check, and I walked down to the Fox pre-party where there were multiple ballrooms that were absolutely packed with attendees. Still did not go through any security at that point. Hypothetically, if I had hidden an explosive in my shoe or jacket, I could have had no problem getting one into these ballrooms. Only once it was time to get into the main ballroom for dinner did we pass through the magnetometers, empty our pockets, and pat them. That's the part where this guy tried to run past. And even that checkpoint was just outside of the dinner room. Two things can be true at the same time. Secret Service reacted quickly to an active armed threat and prevented that threat from getting into the ballroom, but the security leading up to that point, in my opinion, appears to be lacking severely. Well, the thing is, this guy was already inside with all his guns the day prior. At least according to his manifesto. And I'm just saying it's not worth in this case to go throw your life away like that, you know? Or some of these kids that are, you know, joining in these protests, the anti-ICE protests, and some of them are turning up and wilding out beyond a protest, and then you're getting your eyes shot out. I've seen 2 kids now with their eyes shot out, teenagers. It seems like teenagers, their eyes shot out for the rest of their life, blind in an eye. It's crazy to me. Crazy. All right, let me see what you guys are saying, and then maybe we'll head off further tonight unless something else pops off. New week starting. New week beginning. There was a video I was working on, but that got set aside because of this story. So I'll push it back a little bit. So yeah, crazy story. I guess we'll see how it proceeds. Could be a chase. Yeah, there could be a chase. I'll be around him. I'll be around. Anything could happen tonight. Chase, barricade. I'm gonna go just chill for a little bit, get ready, put baby girl to bed, and we'll see what else pops off tonight. All right. Thank you guys so much. Take care. Be safe. Good night. Bye. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Bloop, 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 bloop. Adios.